Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today I have a special story from a small town, a gentle mystery that will touch your heart. While you listen, you'll practice shadowing and improve your speaking. Stay with me, repeat after each sentence and feel the English flow. Ready? Let's begin together. Shadowing is a simple and effective method. First, listen to each sentence. Then pause the video and repeat after me. Try to copy my tone, speed, and emotion and speak clearly. Are you ready? Now let's start the story. Listen carefully and repeat after each sentence. My name is Elena Torres and I live in a quiet town near the river. I am 25 years old and I work as a florist in a small shop on the main street. I love arranging bouquets and small displays for weddings and local events. One afternoon I received a call from Anna at the old library. She said there was a small festival at the old library and they needed a flower display to welcome visitors. The library had been closed for many years, but the town decided to open it for one day. I thought it would be a chance to help and to see the old building. I packed ribbons, greens, and my favorite flowers and I walked to the library. The sun was warm and the town smelled like bread from the bakery. I felt a quiet joy because I love public events that bring people together. When I reached the library, the heavy door was open and the air inside smelled of old paper and dust. The room was tall with wooden chairs, a long table, and high windows that let thin light fall on the floor. I met Anna at the desk. She looked nervous and kind. She said, "Thank you for coming. We need the flowers for the old books display." I smiled and began to work. While I worked, I found a small hidden drawer in the table. Inside the drawer there was a folded note and a thin key. The note had a few words: "Find the room where the light falls on the map." I felt curious and a little uneasy. I told the woman at the desk, but she did not know about the note. She suggested the note might be an old puzzle for a treasure hunt many years ago. Later, children from the town came to see the library, and they ran around with laughter. I put the flowers on the table, and then I decided to look for the map. The library was old and there were many corners. I moved a stack of newspapers and found a small map drawer in the wall. The thin key from the drawer opened it. Under the map I saw a faded name and a date. The date was long ago. The name was of a man who had taught at the library. I began to speak with some of the older visitors who remembered him. They said he had lost his son in a flood many years earlier, and after that he closed the library for a time. The idea that the map could be connected to a family story made the afternoon heavy with feeling. I felt the weight of a history I did not know. I wanted to help but I did not know how. In the evening the festival ended and the library door closed. I took the map home with me, and that night I could not sleep. The map showed a small path along the river and a mark near an old willow tree. I thought about the lost son and the teacher who lived alone. The next morning I decided to follow the map because I needed to know if I could bring something back for the town and for the teacher. I packed a small bag and walked toward the river. The sky was gray, and I felt the morning calm. The path was muddy after the rains, and my shoes got wet. As I walked, the map began to feel like a conversation. I wondered if I would find anything at all.
After a long walk, I reached the old willow tree near a bend in the river. The tree was large and its low branches touched the water. Near the roots I saw a stone with a small symbol carved into it, the same symbol on the map. My heart beat faster. I started to dig a little with my hands, and found a small metal box wrapped in oilcloth. Inside the box there was a leather notebook, a photograph, and a small brass whistle. The photograph showed a man and a boy smiling on a bright day. The notebook had handwriting and lists of places the boy loved. I read the first lines and I felt a connection. The name in the notebook matched the name on the map. It was clear now, the teacher had hidden these items to protect the memory of his son. I took the box to the library and showed the woman at the desk. She called Mr. Alvarez, the old teacher, who was slow but steady in his steps. When he saw the photograph he sat down, and his hands shook. He read the notebook aloud in a small voice. Tears came to his eyes and the room felt both heavy and warm. He said, "I kept these things because I could not speak about him. I hid them so the town would remember him, and so I could keep him safe in my heart." People listened and some placed their hands on his shoulders. A quiet miracle happened that afternoon. The teacher spoke about his son, and the town listened. The small whistle in the box made a soft sound, and the children laughed like a wave of light. The town's old sorrow began to change into something else. Over the next days the discovery grew into a town story. Neighbors came with small items and old notes. A fisherman remembered a token he had found years ago, and offered it for the display. We made a small case for the photograph and the notebook. Mr. Alvarez read more pages and told little memories of the river, the mill, and the kite that once flew high. Children learned to mark the map and to look at the stars above the water. We held a simple tea by the library, and many people came to listen. The librarian placed the items with care, and many left flowers and seed packets to help the library garden. The children asked many questions and the old people answered in fragments, and the past felt open for the first time in years. The kennel of the small library garden filled with new life. I helped to create a small display and wrote short labels to explain the story to visitors. School groups came and sat on the low wooden chairs while Mr. Alvarez read a line or two. The children put small stones near the case as a quiet sign of respect. One evening an old man gave a folded note he had kept in his pocket for decades. It was a small drawing the boy had made. A seamstress brought an old scarf. Each small gift made the story larger and kinder. The town began to speak in softer ways about that lost day. I felt proud and humbled that a simple act, finding a small box under a willow, could move so many hearts. In the evenings we opened the library windows, and the light fell on the table where the box lay. People stopped for a moment and then they sat and told small stories. The air seemed cleaner and the river sounded like a friend again. That small week changed how the town held its memory. After the letters were preserved in the library, life returned to its familiar rhythm, but something inside me changed. I felt grateful for the day I followed a voice and for the courage the teacher showed in his search. The town felt quieter but kinder. I learned that small acts of help can lead to deep changes. We do not always need great signs to find peace, sometimes we need truth and a patient heart. Mr. Alvarez began to write short notes about his son, and he helped to explain the letters to children who came to the library. He said that reading the words aloud had taken a weight from his heart. The new display helped children learn to respect memory, and the town found moments of quiet pride. I often meet visitors who say our small work changed how they see the past. On a soft evening we gathered at the shore and read one of the captain's letters aloud. We put a small lantern on the water as a sign of memory. The light moved with the waves and the sound of the river felt like a safe answer. Mr. Alvarez smiled and said he no longer felt heavy silence where his son's memory lived. That day I understood that stories can heal. Helping another person taught me the value of listening, patience, and small care. I kept telling stories in the library with new passion. Our town seemed to hold its history a little closer, and I felt proud that our small search had made a quiet change. Great job! You finished the story. Now go back and listen again. Pause after each sentence and repeat aloud. Shadowing will help your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. Practice a little every day, and watch your English grow. Thank you for practicing with me today. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe to Silent Pages for more shadowing stories. Share this video with a friend. See you in the next story. Goodbye.